It started as an ordinary Saturday morning, sunlight bleeding softly through the curtains, the smell of toast lingering in the kitchen, and the faint hum of her favorite playlist in the background. I was setting the table, half awake, while Emily scrolled through her phone, her mood unreadable. She'd been distant for weeks, small things first, ignoring my texts, brushing off compliments, late replies replaced with sighs. I thought maybe work was stressing her, so I tried to help, cooked dinner, surprised her with flowers, even booked a weekend getaway. But that morning, the storm finally broke. She was sitting by the window, cup of coffee in hand, when I asked, "You've been quiet lately. Did I do something wrong?" Her eyes flicked toward me, sharp and tired. "You just don't get it, do you, Adam?" she said, her tone cold enough to slice through me. "Get what?" I asked. She slammed her mug down, spilling coffee across the table. "You never make an effort anymore. My ex would never treat me like this." The words hit harder than I expected. I froze, staring at her, not because I was angry, but because of how casually she said it, as if comparing me to her ex was as normal as breathing. "Your ex?" I repeated slowly. She crossed her arms, clearly ready for a fight. "Yes, Daniel. He used to bring me breakfast in bed, send good morning texts every single day, remember every tiny thing I said. You," she gestured toward me. "You don't even notice when I get my hair done." I tried to keep calm. "Emily, I noticed. I just didn't say anything because I didn't want it to sound forced. You looked beautiful." But she scoffed, rolling her eyes. "You always have an excuse. Daniel made me feel special. You make me feel like an obligation." That was when something inside me cracked, not from anger, but from the realization that I'd been trying to love someone who was already halfway out the door. I took a slow breath, trying to understand. "So, you're saying I don't measure up to him?" She didn't even hesitate. "I'm saying he set the standard, and you keep falling short." For a moment, silence stretched between us as thick, suffocating. Then I did something unexpected, I smiled. Not out of spite, but out of a strange, painful clarity. "Then maybe," I said quietly, "you should go back to him." Her eyes widened. "What?" she said, as if I'd spoken another language. I repeated myself, calm and clear. "If Daniel was so perfect, if he made you feel everything I apparently can't, then maybe you should go back to him." She blinked, stunned. "You're not serious." I shrugged. "Completely serious. I'm done being measured against someone who isn't here. I can't compete with a ghost from your past." Her lips trembled, but she quickly masked it with anger. "You're being dramatic." I stood up, feeling lighter than I had in months. "No, Emily. I'm being honest. I've spent months trying to prove myself to someone who's already decided I'll never be enough. I can't live like that." She tried to change the tone, softening her voice. "Adam, you're overreacting. I didn't mean it like that." But I could see the flicker of panic in her eyes, not because she loved me, but because she was losing control. I walked to the bedroom, grabbed my keys, and said, "Maybe take a few days to think about what you really want." When I left the apartment, the air outside felt different, clean, free, like I'd stepped out of a suffocating bubble. I drove aimlessly for hours, trying to clear my head. Every memory of us replayed in flashes, the nights we stayed up talking, the quiet breakfasts, the laughter that once felt so genuine. Somewhere along the way, that love had turned into a competition I didn't even know I was part of. 2 days passed before she called. I didn't answer the first few times. On the third attempt, I picked up. Her voice was small, fragile. "Adam, can we talk?" I sighed. "What is there to talk about?" "I didn't mean to compare you." I was angry. "You know how I get sometimes." "Emily," I said gently, "the problem isn't what you said. It's what you meant. You've been comparing us for a long time." She stayed quiet. Then, almost whispering, she said, "I went to see Daniel. My stomach dropped, but I didn't say a word. It wasn't like that, she rushed. I just needed to see if maybe. I was right. But I wasn't. He hasn't changed. He's still selfish, still shallow. I exhaled slowly. So, you needed to see him to realize what you had? Yes, she said softly. And I was wrong. I miss you. I want to fix this. For a brief second, part of me wanted to give in, to go back, to believe her. But then I remembered every cold stare, every snide remark, every time she made me feel like I was less than someone else. I couldn't forget that. Emily, I said quietly, you didn't lose me because Daniel was better. You lost me because you never saw what you already had. She started crying. Please, Adam, don't do this. I hesitated. My heart still loved her, but my soul was tired. You said your ex would never treat you like this, I reminded her softly. Well, you were right. He probably wouldn't let you walk away with your dignity intact. But I will. There was silence on the other end. Just her quiet sobbing. Goodbye, Emily, I said, and ended the call. Weeks passed. I focused on work, reconnected with friends I'd neglected, and rediscovered small joys, cooking for one, reading late into the night, watching the sunrise without waiting for anyone to join me. Healing wasn't easy, but it was freeing. One evening, months later, I got a message from her, I hope you're happy. You deserve it. I stared at it for a long time before replying simply, I am. Take care of yourself. As I put my phone down, I realized that love shouldn't feel like constantly auditioning for approval. Sometimes walking away isn't an act of pride, it's an act of self-respect. She said, my ex would never do this to me. And I said, then go back to him. But what I really meant was, I'm done proving my worth to someone who couldn't see it. And for the first time in a long time, I finally meant it.